we've got some competition.
We do.
In the podcasting space.
It's a tough niche to survive in.
Yeah.
A lot of sharks in the water.
Yeah, there's downward pressure from late night hosts that get fired and then start podcasts.
It capture up all the market share.
Yeah, it fucks up the market. It fucks up our audience. And then there are those who are married to people in government that now apparently want to start podcasts.
All these people, they latch on to some position of power, maybe mainstream, maybe not, and then just think that they can start a podcast, think they have what it takes to survive in this career.
And they don't. It's brutal.
It's brutal out here. You got to be about it.
Talking for a prolonged period of time is not easy, folks.
It's draining.
And a lot of people think they can just do it because they see others doing it. And the latest person to do this is Katie Miller. That's Stephen Miller's wife.
Evil.
She came out about a week ago, 10 days ago or so, and dropped basically an announcement video saying, hey, guys, I'm starting a podcast.
Is it a solo show?
No, it's not a solo show.
Okay.
And I'll explain like what's going on in a little bit, but I want to watch this like intro video. It's about a minute long, or at least the part I've cut out is about a minute long. And she's just introducing herself and what the podcast is. And it's a great sign that this literally starts on a black frame.
Hell yeah. I bet she's got a really charming personality, just like her husband, Steven.
Oh yeah. Well, let's take a listen and see what Katie Miller has to say on her brand new show, The Katie Miller Show, by the way.
Lame.
Imagine we named this shit The Jeremy and Gage Show.
Boo,
come on
tomato.
now. Anyway, let's take a listen.
Hi, I'm Katie Miller. Welcome to my podcast and welcome to my living room. You may be wondering what I'm doing here hosting a podcast. It seems these days just about everyone has a podcast. For years, I've watched from the sidelines as people I know, people I respect, have hosted TV shows, radio shows, podcasts, you name it. And I thought, hey, I could do that too. And why? Because for years I've seen that there isn't a place for conservative women to gather online. There isn't a place for a mom like me, mom of 3 young kids, 4, 3, and almost 2, and a wife, and trying to do a career, eat healthy, work out. There isn't a place for a mom like me. And so I wanted to create that space where we have real, honest conversations with people across the political spectrum and across the world to get lifestyle information, news, laugh with our friends, gossip about what's going on in the world from our perspective, from that of a mom with 3 kids who's trying to make every day be the best it can, from bedtime to bath time to breakfast in the morning to getting out the door for work and everything in between.
She got wicked room noise in the back of that thing.
Oh yeah,
She got
terrible
wicked
mic.
room noise, terrible mic, terrible audio quality. Why is it cut like that? What? Also, a mom of 3 kids trying to have a career. Isn't that what your husband fights against?
Exactly.
Isn't that exactly what your husband stands against and like everyone he works for? It's like their stated goal to not let you have a career.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like, on an aesthetic point, like I mean this in the most derogatory way possible.
Yeah.
She sounds like a Democrat.
She does sound like a Democrat.
The stiff tone, absolutely having nothing real to say throughout that whole thing. She sounds like a Democrat.
It's like the most plain. There's no like affect behind the things that she says. It sounds put on.
Yeah, it sounds like she didn't even look at the script beforehand, whatever the fuck she was reading. It's very boring. And also, I will say, like, this is just going to be state propaganda.
No, and it's also like, we want I want a place where conservative women can gather. That's not Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Tommy Lauren,
Exactly.
fucking the Just Pearly things, the billion other trad wife influencers. That one chick that said the N-word on TikTok and got a career because of it.
Yeah,
like,
got a bunch of GoFundMe money.
There are so many conservative women that do exactly this. This is not a unique niche.
The market's oversaturated, quite
truly
frankly.
is.
Like, you're not adding to anything here. But yeah, this is just gonna be state propaganda. This is Stephen Miller's wife. And can you guess who her first guest was in her first episode?
Was it Stephen Miller?
It was JD Vance.
Oh, come on.
I wonder how
dude.
she got that connection.
Oh, my first ever episode of my first podcast, I get the sitting vice president on. I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom trying to have a career and do a podcast.
We're gonna have normal conversations, talk about normal things. Here's the vice president of the United States.
We're gonna talk across the political spectrum. Here's the vice president.
Yeah.
Oh my!
It's just gonna be state propaganda, and she's not even hiding it. Like,
No.
it's so fucking corny. The episode itself was corny. I won't play any of that here, but Jesus Christ.
It looks like the most soulless podcast.
Yeah, but to your first point about like Stephen Miller actively fights against her ability to do this and like for women to have a career generally, women, the like conservative women movement, to the extent that you can call it that, is based on this like ideal of a trad wife life. But for them to actually embody the values that they push onto other women, they would have to completely disappear from the internet. They wouldn't be allowed to have a media presence at all. People like Katie Miller and the people that do like the trad wife life stuff, they take advantage of the benefits that have been given to them by historical feminist movements and then try to use those advantages to turn back the clock and undo the progress that they now benefit from.
Absolutely.
Katie Miller would not be able to do state propaganda if it wasn't for the civil, political, and economic rights that she now has because of the ideology that she derides.
The historical trad wife did not have a camera that she could set up in her kitchen while she does trad wife things. She was addicted to benzos.
If she interacted with the media at all, she'd probably get beat.
Exactly. It's insane. Like back then you were depressed out of your mind because you never got to leave the house. You just cooked. You didn't get to cook and also edit a video and post a video and interact with the community. You just cooked by yourself for your husband when he got home from work. And if you didn't, you were in trouble. And you were so sad you were addicted to benzos. I
find it all a little bit baffling because the people who are out here telling women how they should live today, idealizing this trad wife life, absolutely never live the life that they are telling other people to live. Mm-hmm. They are never living that life.
It's nuts.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and I think this shit's dumb, and it's just going to be state propaganda. Like, also, there's no point.
Another podcast.
Derogatory. Oh my God. There should be one podcast.
Exactly. One podcast that's really good at doing geopolitics.
Everything should be decommodified. Everything should be owned collectively except for the one podcast.
Yeah, our job on the commune would be podcasting. Right?
Exactly. We'd be the one commune podcast.
And that's all you need.
And we wouldn't have to talk about politics anymore because politics would cease to exist.
Communism is when you have one option for everything. We're that.
Everything's the same.
Everything's the same. You get one option. You get government steak, government cheese, government bread, government podcast. And we're running the government podcast. And maybe then we could get a production crew and bring more people on, but we're on the mics.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Welcome.
It's Thursday, August 14th, and we're here bringing you another hit-o.
Another hit-o? Another news week?
Yeah.
Another crop of bad stories.
I can't think of anything bad that happened, honestly. Honestly, the worst thing this week is Katie Miller starting a podcast and competing with podcasters like us.
See, that's genuinely the worst thing. That's coming from my livelihood, coming from my neck. We have a large conservative woman audience.
Exactly. We have a large conservative woman audience that's being poached by Katie Miller. It's just, it's
and she gets the fucking vice president on the goddamn podcast, her first episode. Come on, where's the room for a little guy like me?
Small businesses should not have to compete with the state.
It took us 4 years to get like a higher politician up on here.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about DC being occupied. Today we're going to be talking about PragerU. Dennis Prager makes a return.
We got to talk about the Smithsonian.
Oh, true.
And we got to talk about Bibi Netanyahu.
Talk about Smithsonian. Talk about our version of Goebbels. Stephen Miller, not Katie Miller. I just saw he put out a big ass statement on the Smithsonian.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, just a long tweet talking about like the left has perverted our history, literally being Goebbels.
Oh, of course, the left has perverted our history when they said slavery was bad, because that's literally what it is. But
yeah, and bro actually looks like Goebbels too. It's kind of crazy,
for real.
Like the skinny face with the white head. Goebbels had some hair.
The impossibly bald head.
Yeah, they kind of look the same. But anyways, if you want to support the show and if you want early access to all of our stuff and postcards, which all of you should have just got if you're on the list and we've confirmed you.
Yes, international, go to Patreon. Taken longer. I mailed them out later than the rest of them because I had to go get special stamps for those. Don't kill me.
Special stamps for those geopolitical international hit-o heads. But all that over on the Patreon, patreon.com/headintheofficepod. And it supports the show.
It does.
And I know you want to support the show with PBS defunded, with NPR defunded. We need a grassroots funded media organization, and that's us.
Exactly. And what the situation is right now is it's like while Katie Miller is poaching the conservative woman audience that we pull from greatly, that we frankly rely on.
We depend on,
It's one of the legs in the three-legged stool that keeps this podcast up, right? While she's poaching that, capturing that market share, there's an immense amount of market share that's opened up when it comes to kids content. and we need to get in there. There's going to be an arms race for who can fill the void that PBS left behind. And all I'm saying is you could put us on when your toddler's chilling.
We could be the leftist version of PragerU.
This is a clean show. This is a family-friendly show. We talk about history sometimes.
We do. we break stuff down. You can also get some Hit-O merch. All of our links are in the description if you want to follow us, support the show, etc. It's all down there. And lastly, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify, of course. The longest enduring way to support the show. This first one on Apple from Simon C. The OG. Two goats can coexist.
Truth.
They say, nothing fires me up up more than when Monday rolls around and I get to hang out with my two favorite quirked up white boys. My non-parasocial best friends, Gage and Jeremy, have hands down the best podcast in town. Obviously, it's the number one geopolitical podcast of all time on account of their 100% accuracy and dedication to only truth.
So heavy on that.
But their distinct lack of bias means that I, a Michigander, finally get to listen to a podcast that is not afraid to dunk on my senator, our senator,
unfortunately,
Alyssa Slotkin. I give this show 250 billion stars, making it the richest podcast in the world and putting it on track to be the world's first trillion-star podcast by 2027.
We're just like Elon Musk.
And to wrap it up, I, of course, condemn Hamas and all forms of political violence. Did I scare you?
Yes.
Keep up the good work, gentlemen. Keep up the good work.
And that we will. This next one by Seriously 13455, Speechless, best and most truthful podcast. I am so thankful I found you guys. Quick, simple, concise, to the point.
This is the ministry of truth right here. We speak the truth here on this podcast. This last Apple review from Mr. Man 247, 5 out of 5 stars from Jerry. Help. As a high-ranking CIA agent proficient in disrupting leftist communities, I'm at a loss. I've been listening to these gentlemen for 2 years now, waiting on the edge of my desk chair for one of them to slip up and give an incorrect take, but it just hasn't happened. Taking down their community from the inside has been impossible because of how much I have learned and how distractingly beautiful they are to look at. Someone please stop them before they brainwash the entire nation into becoming better people. P.S. Of course, as a government official, I condemn Hamas in all forms of political violence.
Well, I'd expect nothing less.
I'm
surprised your job hasn't been purged, but I guess if you're in the disrupting leftist portion of the CIA,
yeah, they kept COINTELPRO around so they could infiltrate those leftist organizations.
That's what it is. They love pulling up to the meetings and just saying the opposite thing, but just derailing the exact conversation. That's good. It's good. Moving over to Spotify. This one we have Papa Glucose 5 out of 5. I've been a listener since a little after the 2024 election. Let me tell you, I was elated to discover two white boys who despise Hamas and political violence as much as I do. As a Mississippi grad student, it's so nice listening to y'all to remind me that good American leftists really do exist. Obligatory Zoran dick gargle. And big ups for being chill as fuck. I love Hassan's streams, but they stress me the fuck out sometimes. Love you. Be safe. They're coming for the commies next.
I love how Papa Glucose's PFP is Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
This next one from CJ, 5 stars type shit. Hamas condemnations. Let's get that aid in first and stop the siege. Then I'll consider. Let's get that aid in first and stop the siege, then I'll consider. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, that's real as hell. I'm a college student from Iowa, the 10th circle of hell, and surviving in a sea of red corn crunchers is a Sisyphus-type task. These Midwest white boys keep our spirits high, heavy on that. They said
my God.
God bless the glorious Hitomine virus. Let me know if you boys start a commune. I will flee to the glorious Marxist North. God bless. We're starting the commune, but we're the podcasters, so we need somebody, doing the farm, doing the cooking, doing the sewage,
we need somebody doing the manual labor and the building and stuff and the hard work.
I wonder,
that isn't podcasting.
And I feel like maybe the podcasters should be in charge of the labor.
Yeah,
like we direct the labor, but we aren't the laborers. You know what I mean?
Because we're the ones on the microphone, so we're the ones people listen to. Because you have to tune in. It's mandated. You have to tune in whenever it drops.
Yeah, you actually can't turn off your phone.
It plays on the loudspeaker.
Yep.
This next one from IZ, 5 out of 5 stars for these quirked up white boys. These gentlemen here put out straight heat in the geopolitical podcast space. In this day and age, we need all of the information we can get about political shenanigans from both Dems and Republicans. And these guys deliver heavy on that. They said it, not me. Shout out for keeping this going, no matter how bleak things are for us. And lastly, I condemn Loud Train goes by.
Oh, what could it have been?
I wonder what you condemned. I don't know. I can only guess.
This last one from Colonel Narwhals, 5 out of 5, consider Hamas and all political violence condemned. I find it absolutely bonkers that not so Rivers Cuomo is claiming that a $2,300 stabilized housing is something that a lower income single mother could afford. In New York, Mamdani occupying a $2,300 apartment and calling that apartment affordable or reasonable for a low income family is absolutely tone deaf.
Real.
And perfectly indicative of how out of touch Cuomo is as a Democrat, meant to be speaking for the common man.
Yeah, $2,300 rent, it seems abysmal everywhere. Yep. I can't speak too much on the NYC real estate market, but I know if I was paying $2,300 a month here, I'd be crying, pissing, screaming, kicking.
It's fucked up. It's not fair.
That's not fair.
For a 1 bedroom.
It's a 1 bedroom?
It's a 1 bedroom in Astoria, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I got a 2-bedroom here in Detroit, and it's not even $2,300 a month.
By my apartments, they just built like new apartments. Everybody's building luxury apartments. So you can't fucking get away with it. They just built like new apartments, and a studio was like $1,900 a month. And I'm like, what the? I felt offended just to be by there.
It's fucked up. I mean, I feel like even like a decade or two ago, apartments were like $400 a month.
I was talking to my mom, and she was like, yeah, back in like the late 90s, I paid like $350 for rent. And I was like, oh.
Man, if only, man.
My
if
goodness.
only. Anyway, I do support using your review space because you're limited to 500 characters or whatever on Spotify. I approve using that to hate on Andrew Cuomo.
That's
a good use of your time.
I condemn Andrew Cuomo.
That's right. Getting into the news, though, we got to start off in D.C. Because D.C. is still under military occupation, as we reported last episode, and it's only got worse.
And it looks like it might be that way for a long, long time.
It's ramping up. Trump wants it to be that way for a while, it seems. And Pete Hegseth was on Fox News, and he was like, he was asked by Laura Ingraham, of all people, how long is it going to last?
Yeah, Laura Ingraham it wasn't a contentious interview because it's Fox News, but she actually asked questions this time.
She gave more pushback than I thought. She was basically like, how long are you going to be there? And he's like, I don't know.
And she's like, okay, but like, how long are you going to be there, though?
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
Well, and her concern was that it's costing money. She said this all costs money, not, you're brutalizing homeless people.
Well, because that's because conservatives are the fiscally responsible party.
You got to appreciate it there. Got to appreciate it. So as of Thursday, that's today, National Guard is on the ground. They've been operating in 100 to 200 person personnel shifts, but that's expected to scale up and actually might have already scaled up at the time of recording this. A total of 800 National Guardsmen were stationed in D.C. as of the time of writing this morning. I don't know if that's changed at all. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
For a population of 700,000. That's a lot of people.
Oh, DC only has 700,000 people?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's about I think it's got a little bit more population than Wyoming, and yet it's not a state.
Oh, interesting.
It's fucked up. As of right now, it seems mostly like it's been like a, aesthetic display of power, as many things are in this Trump administration. But who knows if that might change?
Yeah, I'm praying it doesn't. Hopefully this goes the way of LA, where the National Guardsmen just kind of stood there while the police did things, and they don't actually run around and arrest people.
Yeah, the LA thing totally fizzled out. I mean, they did, I guess it was a National Guard that did it, but the police arrested like 1,000 people. A bunch of people got deported in that operation.
Yes.
But it did like sort of fizzle out over time, right? Like there wasn't anything, there were no like mass shootings or anything like that. I mean, reporters were getting shot by rubber bullets and whatnot, but like it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, the mass shooting was the cops shooting reporters.
But this, who knows, man? Who knows? It seems like they're trying to like instigate something larger.
They really want something to pop off. You can see how desperate Pete Hegseth and Trump are to just exert force on people.
Yeah.
To just do anything possible. There was one moment in the press conference on Monday that we didn't talk about where Trump said something like, oh, if you hit a cop, if you spit on a cop, it's a line that they love to talk about, like spitting on cops recently, as if that's just an epidemic of things that are happening.
Should be.
He's like, if you spit on a cop, the cop can do whatever they want to you. Like the cop should be able to fucking beat your ass after that, and we'll let him, and they should. And it's like, oh man.
Some white dude in DC threw a sandwich at a police officer. Like, because of this, they're like,
that's funny.
Some cops were like posted up on a sidewalk, and bro just threw a sandwich at him.
He got arrested.
Actually
kind of funny though.
Free man, he ain't do nothing wrong.
My man, that couldn't have hurt.
So the entire pretext for what's happening in DC now is that there's this massive crime wave that, even though the statistics don't show it, the city is completely overtaken by thugs and gangs and
roving
criminals
games of violent youth,
and a bunch of young people that are just carjacking and beating the shit out of White House staffers.
Yeah, you can't drive your car in DC without getting it taken by a 13-year-old.
So one might think, law enforcement pulls up, they're supporting the DC PD, National Guard are on the ground. You might think like droves and droves of people getting arrested, right? Hundreds of people, thousands of people getting arrested. We're locking up the criminals.
Well, yeah, we're cracking down on the city. We're going to where we know where they all live, because they all know where all the criminals live, and it's easy to crack down.
Well, because they're literally everywhere.
Exactly.
Every corner of DC is just full of criminals.
Yeah, all you got to do is turn around and you'll see somebody robbing someone else.
Exactly. So from ABC, quote, on Tuesday night, more than 1,450 federal law enforcement officers and National Guard members patrolled Washington, according to a White House official. Law enforcement teams made 43 arrests on Tuesday night.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
That's 43 arrests, and last night I think it was like 20 something. Or no, Monday night it was like 20 something.
And one of those arrests was probably the guy who threw the sandwich?
Probably, yeah. Like, we're out here getting 43 people in a city of 700,000 that is supposedly taken over by criminals. We're arresting 43 people on Tuesday night.
How many of those arrests were like homeless people?
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Because like, aren't they just like, I don't know to the extent that they've started the remove all homeless people from being visible everywhere operation, but that's what they want to do. How many of these arrests are just them running up to homeless people in these camps and just ruining the camp, or just throwing everything away and taking the people and putting them somewhere else?
Yeah. To the extent that like homeless people have been arrested or kicked out is sort of unclear as of right now, because there's just not that much information about it. But we do have some details on what these people have been arrested for, the public arrests that were made. In total, around 100 people since the start of this have been arrested. And according,
is that like a lot? Like, I don't know if that's a lot.
Well, according to News Nation, quote, the dozens of people arrested so far face charges that include narcotics, so drugs, firearms, drunk driving, and warrant violations. At least one person has been charged with a homicide. 24 guns were seized, and 23 of those arrests were those in the United States illegally.
So these are all completely equal arrests. We're sweeping. We're really getting violent crime off the streets. Those violent warrant evaders.
Yeah, warrant evaders, people with drugs, DUIs.
And it's like the craziest thing about going and arresting like the warrant evaders is it's like you know where they live. Like these aren't
like, their information.
You know everything about them because there's a warrant out for their arrest, or maybe they missed a court date or whatever. Like, you can just go grab them.
Yeah, and it's like they said they got one suspect of homicide. Okay, fine, whatever. And sure, like, I don't want people, with DUIs driving or whatever it may be. But do we need the National Guard for this?
No.
This seems like regular police work.
This seems entirely something that regular police could do if they just were like, I don't know, given the time and resources to do it, like police always yap about.
Yeah, like, it seems like this is purely just an escalation. It's about the aesthetics of violence, and it seems like a waste of time.
I'm sure the National Guard guy just kind of sat there, maybe smoking a cig, while the police busted into a house to get somebody who dodged a court date.
Yeah, I'm sure just like LA, the National Guard are like, why are we here? Like, this is not what I signed up for. But here you are under the Trump regime. You probably did vote for Trump. Statistically, you were likely to vote for Trump. So anyways, this shit's kind of a joke. And of course, I'm not saying they should be arresting more people.
Of course.
But the point is, like, maybe there just aren't that many violent criminals to go and arrest.
What this is, most likely, right? Like, what this is and what this operation will continue to be is going to be just like what's happening with the quote-unquote mass deportation effort, where they're just going for the people that were easy to get anyway. They're just going for it. Like, in the same way that ICE is setting up traps at immigration court, they're going to be setting up traps for people who maybe have like an offense, maybe have a warrant out, but it wasn't like super enforced because of the way resources were allocated, and just grabbing them. It's going to be grabbing people at the bottom of the barrel. They're going to do the same things that ICE has been doing across the country, in DC specifically, counting those as arrests and using those to pump up the numbers, because they're just pulling up to places where immigrants are and profiling people. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, in a majority black city, you can imagine how law enforcement's going to interact with them at the behest of
especially
someone
law
like
enforcement from out of town.
Yeah, and to be clear, Pete Hegseth did say that National Guard aren't the ones making arrests, right? Like, martial law hasn't technically been declared, so military can't technically arrest people right now. But, like, give it some time.
But then in that same interview, he said, but like they could.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating when I say he said that. He said, Laura Ingraham kind of pressed him on this one too, which I was really surprised about, actually.
Shout out Ingram Angle.
Shout out Ingram Angle. We're getting real journalism on Fox News, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, when you've lost Laura Ingraham, I don't know what to say, man.
That's what I'm saying. When the aesthetics are so bad that Laura Ingraham can't give you a softball interview, brother, what are we doing? We've descended. It might be uncomebackable, but anyway, she asked him about that. He said, no, National Guards people won't be arresting people. It'd be the same situation as LA, where they'll be supporting police in their duties. And she's like, okay, what if they see a crime? Yeah. And he's like, well, if they see a crime, much like in LA, they can temporarily detain people while the police go and then come and arrest them. And it's like, okay, that's just an arrest. If you're detaining somebody until the cops get there, you're just like kind of arresting them. As a National Guardsman, you're a federal force doing civilian law. You're the military doing civilian law enforcement. But she pressed him again, and she's like, okay, what if the cops aren't there and a National Guardsman turns around and sees a crime being committed? Then what happens? And he goes, well, if a National Guardsman needs to do what he needs to do, then I'll have his back. Brother, what are you going to do?
Oh my God, dude.
What are you going to do to have his back?
Dude, a National Guardsman, like, inserting themselves into a crime they see happening is the same thing as me inserting myself into a crime I see happening. They have as much legal authority as I do.
Exactly.
As a civilian.
Like, it's worse when they do it.
Yeah, it is worse because of their authority.
So much worse when they do it. Like, if I see somebody being, I don't know, violent on the street, and I use my wicked skills and detain them and get them in a full Nelson or some shit till the cops get there. That's like,
triangle.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, because I'm a civilian. When the National Guardsman does it, that's just the military doing
that's military dictatorship.
That's just the military doing
not
things.
What I want to see at all. As you said, or as you brought up earlier, it's still sort of unclear what the administration's plan is for the homeless. From the AP quote, Asked during a media briefing at the White House on Tuesday where homeless people would be relocated, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said local police and federal agencies would enforce the laws that are already on the books, which she said have been completely ignored. Furthermore, citing a city regulation that she said gives local police the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments, Leavitt said that homeless people will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services. Those who refuse will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
Okay, so they're just gonna jail homeless
leave
people.
Or you're going to jail, essentially.
It's because the homeless shelters, I'm sure, like every major city, are already overcrowded. So it's like you take them to a homeless shelter, they can't accept them. The only place that can't accept them at that point is jail.
Yeah, jail. Or you just, make them wander outside of D.C.?
Yeah, or you just make a new camp, maybe a camp where you concentrate them in somewhere in D.C. and throw them there.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Last thing on the sort of Republican angle here, Trump said he is seeking approval from Congress for the military to stay beyond the 30 days that they are, I believe, constitutional, or by the Home Rule Act, that they're allowed to stay in this sort of like area of emergency. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I know Pete Hegseth in that Ingram Angle interview said something along the lines of they'll be there for as long as they need.
Yeah.
And frankly, they'll probably need to be here for a while.
He said, I think it's conditions based.
Yeah. Dude, the way that he talks is so corny too. He's like a guy. I know he was like actually in the military and whatever, and like deployed and whatnot, but like he talks like a caricature of a guy that was in the military.
He was also on Fox News. He probably felt very at home being back in the studio.
He's like, Laura, we're friends. Why are you asking me these questions?
This was not in the list of questions that you gave me before the interview.
Well, this was in the list of questions, but I didn't know you were going to follow up. I thought I could just say whatever.
So I do want to briefly, before moving on, talk about the response from local DC officials.
Okay.
And one of these statements is another I hate liberals moment.
Nice.
And the second one of these statements is like, we shouldn't be surprised. So this first one is from the Mayor Bowser. She said, quote, I know some people have questions. Say, Bowser, why are you working with them? Well, aside from it being the law, it's also important for our public safety, for our police to be directing where we most need additional police resources. And then she later calls it fascism.
It's Cory Booker fighting for police funding on the Senate floor right there. Like, really.
She says in another statement that it's like the first step of fascism. And it's like, all right, if this is fascism, why are you doing the historically problematic thing, appeasement?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Like, we know appeasement doesn't work with fascists.
It's like, it would be against the law for me to deny helping them out here. And it's like, really, as if this administration has cared about the law.
Dude, there's no more law. Law's done.
This administration hasn't done everything that they possibly can to bend every single technicality within the law to have it favor what they want to do. Yeah. As if they could even really do this. Like, even within the Home Rule Act, you're supposed to declare a state of emergency. Fucking, it seems like the president can just call anything a state of emergency and do anything that he wants whenever he wants, because there's nothing actually defining what a state of emergency is.
It's kind of sick how the founders envisioned all these different like checks and balances and shared powers and shit. Unless the president says there's an emergency, then he's God King Emperor.
Unless the president said no, I'm going to do this anyway, and then just calls an emergency. It does not make sense that Trump could just call an emergency in DC, not cite anything, not have to meet like any fucking metric of literally anything. And then all of a sudden he can just federalize the city and then take control and do military dictatorship. That doesn't make sense. That shouldn't be okay. I would say that's antithetical to the spirit of the law.
As long as we can fire the statistician, then we can do whatever we want. Like, as long as nobody can present counter evidence, then what I say is real.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's happening here.
Reality, it's really just perception. Like, what is truth? You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of there being no truth anymore, I have a quote here from DC Police Union Chairman.
Well, these guys are good.
Greg Pemberton. This guy thinks that there actually hasn't really been a drop in crime. He said, quote, there's potentially a drop from where we were in 2023. I think there's a possibility that crime has come down. But the department is reporting that in 2024, crime went down 35%, violent crime, and another 25% through August this year. That is preposterous to suggest that cumulatively we've seen a 60% plus drop in violent crime from where we were in 2023 because we're out on the street. We know the calls we're responding to.
Yeah, you do know the calls you're responding to, and that's why you reported a 35% drop in crime and then a 25% drop in crime year over year after that.
It's just, he's like, crime actually hasn't dropped. I support what Trump is doing, and here's anecdotal evidence.
Exactly. No, but like, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, also, I may be just having a brain fart here, right? Because statistics wasn't my best thing in high school. But if there's a 35% drop from 2023, and then a 25% drop from the 2024 numbers,
you can't just add those
that's
together.
Not 60%.
Yeah, you can't just add those together.
Okay,
there's probably a reason he doesn't understand it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's why he doesn't get what's going on. He's like, 60% drop in crime, that hasn't happened. Well, exactly, it hasn't happened.
The percent is like the denominator changed.
There was a 35%, then a 25% drop, guy. And it's like typical police union behavior. Their police unions specifically have to justify their own existence in such a unique and violent way that these guys will get out there and say anything. Yeah. The only side of any issue they actually come out like on the right side of is sometimes gun control in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's kind of just by accident.
Exactly.
That's out of like a sense for self-preservation. Like they just don't want to get shot on the job. So yeah, that's the DC police, at least the leadership of the DC police seem like cool with what Trump is doing. Nice. Probably because they get to go out and brutalize more people, which is I don't know what they want to do.
They get to live their cop fantasy because it's boring sitting on the fucking median and waiting to get people speeding on the highway. It's cool to go kill someone.
Yeah, and it's like this worldview where he's like, I know the calls we're responding to, therefore there isn't a drop in crime. It's just the same mentality that Trump has.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I see homeless people. There's like visuals or images that stick out in my mind, therefore crime is high. It's how a lot of Americans think about crime too. Yeah, like when you ask them if they've been victim of like a violent crime, like a car robbery or like, being shot or stabbed or whatever, crime rates are very low. But then if you ask them if they think crime is high, they'll say yes, it is.
I need to go back and like actually look at new polling because it's been probably 2 years since I brought this up. I think it was the midterms, but there was that one poll that we keep bringing up that said that people's perception of crime back in like 2023 or maybe early 2024 was higher than their perception of crime in the 90s when there was an actual crime wave.
Yes.
Like the more people are told that there's like violent crime, the more people are tricked into believing that they're going to be mobbed and murdered when they go for a jog on the street, the more their perception of crime is going to be there and the more they're going to be able to justify these more violent draconian measures like coming down. We need to stop that.
Yeah, by a lot of metrics, U.S. cities are like safer than they've ever been.
Exactly.
Like the New York subway is decried a lot as like this Elden Ring dungeon, but it is safer than it's ever been.
It's chill.
Yeah, and not to say that there aren't problems, of course, that you can find them. Like that's not to say there's nothing going on, but Jesus Christ, people.
Exactly.
Nobody is able to like think about the world and offer an accurate picture of how much crime is actually happening. And that's why statistics are important, folks.
Statistics are important. That's why it's important to have a data-driven perspective.
Yeah,
that's what I love doing on this podcast.
We love talking about data. So that's DC. Bask in the glorious light of Hiddo merchandise.
Absolutely.
We have so much on offer that you can find right now at headintheoffice.com. We got stickers, we got shirts, we got hoodies, we got hats, we got everything you could possibly imagine. And it's divine, folks.
It's beautiful.
And it's one of the best ways you can support the show. So go and get some merch, bathe in the glory of the radiant Hiddo light, and support the show.
Support the show. We've got a variety of different colors. We've got blacks, we've got grays, and we've got green like money, most importantly. We love money here on this podcast.
So head over to headintheoffice.com, support the show, and get yourself some merch.
That's DC. Well, that's one aspect of DC.
Oh, we're staying in DC, folks.
While we're still in DC, I think it's time to talk about the Smithsonian and what's been going on there, because Trump sent a letter to the Smithsonian telling him they need to lie now. Straight up, that's just right off the top getting you what you need to know, and we can expand on that here. The Smithsonian was told they need to begin, quote, examining their museums. This examination will look at all public-facing content, such as social media, exhibition texts, and educational materials to, quote, assess tone, historical framing, and alignment with American ideals.
Cool. He who controls the past controls the future. Feeling very 1984 Ministry of Truth.
I feel like there's you always hear from like a conservative in most contexts, like the winner's the one who writes the history books, and they love to deploy that as like a sort of thought terminating cliche to get out whatever like worldview that they have, and like they say that while also like being a conservative, and I there's something about
they say that to like deny any historical evidence you present to them as counter what they believe.
Exactly, or it's like, oh, the winner writes the history books, that's why the liberals lie about everything. I feel like I always hear it there. It's either there or like someone who actually knows what they're talking about that says that. But I digress. More on this examination quote. This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions. Much like how Israel loves to escalate to de-escalate, I feel like Trump attempts to restore public confidence in institutions by just completely tanking their credibility.
Yeah, by compelling them to indoctrinate the youth.
Trump's method of restoring my confidence in this institution is defiling it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different versions of American exceptionalism. Like you'll get a different definition based on who you ask, but a lot of it does entail this idea that like America is a city upon a hill chosen by God to be the world superpower.
Yeah,
and that shit is freak behavior.
Absolutely,
America's just a country.
Exactly.
Global empire, and I think that's for the worse, honestly. That shit, we've been pretty evil, man.
And it's just like, whether it's firing the guy that does stats for the labor department when he doesn't like the report, or doing something like this, they are just speed running, tanking public confidence in anything that the government's doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, conservative dysfunction within government is an intentional thing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, they want you to think that government inherently cannot function, so they can justify selling off as many functions of government as possible to their private friends, so that these individuals that have amassed more wealth than ancient empires can continue to amass more wealth than ancient empires. And then they just, if Trump and the conservatives get what they want here, the only thing our public institutions will be left to do is indoctrinate and violence.
Yeah.
And that seems to be everywhere we're going. We have the National Guard in D.C. doing military dictatorship, and we have the Smithsonian, like the American Historical Institution or whatever, doing lying now.
Yeah, just blatantly lying. Is he threatening to like sell the Smithsonian off?
I don't think he's not threatening to sell the Smithsonian off. He's just telling them like, hey, you better stop teaching about black people.
Yeah, well, and he has full control over it now, right? Like they can't do anything to resist it. I'm pretty sure the executive branch just controls the museums,
J.D.
right?
Vance, the vice president, I think historically is a member of the board of the Smithsonian.
Oh, well, doesn't got anything better to
Exactly.
do.
And I mean, like, even if the vice president wasn't, I think he is now, and Trump would have made it anyway, just like how he took the Kennedy Center for the Arts, fired everybody, and then made himself the chairman.
He likes the Kennedys, man.
He likes the Kennedy. He loves art and high culture.
He likes a Democrat.
Oh shit, what's going on with that one? What happened to the party of Lincoln, Reagan, and Trump?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But the initially, the 8 Smithsonian museums that will be focused on are the Natural History, Air and Space, Art, National Portrait Gallery, the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden, with the 3 most consequential, in my opinion, likely being the Museum of American History, African American History and Culture, and the Museum of the American Indian.
Oh, I think I went to the Museum of African American History. He's gonna defile that
He's
place.
Gonna absolutely wreck it. Like, there's no fucking way that place even he gets to walk away. I wouldn't be surprised if it even gets closed down or it's just turned into a husk of what it once was.
The museums in DC are cool too. You can just walk in.
The Smithsonian museums are dope.
Yeah.
They're
You can just like go in. Like there's a lot of them are just free
to
enter, and they're gonna fucking defile these places.
Absolutely. You can just do everything, and it's like they already. Did you see like 2 weeks ago they got rid of the mentions of Trump's impeachment?
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah.
They got rid of it. Then they tried to claim
stuff.
like, no, it's just a regular thing that was only temporary for us to put it up. But it's like, with all this going on,
but like, why?
You expect me to believe that you just temporarily got rid of the Trump impeachment at the time where Trump is mad at you for doing history?
Yeah, no, so a staffer or maybe Trump himself came along and said like, hey, take this down. You can't talk about this. It's not true.
Exactly.
Like it's state propaganda doing state propaganda things.
That's what they're gonna do with like the 3/5 compromise. They're gonna be like, don't say this was bad. This is actually good. And it's ridiculous. And we don't need to guess what they're going to do, because in many ways they've already done these certain things. And I think we have concrete examples of what they want to do, whether it's in Florida schools, whether it's like Texas textbooks in some cases, or whether it's the new education department partner, Prager University. I think we have some words and news on PragerU that can help us understand what's going to happen with the Smithsonian.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been like a maelstrom of news over the past few weeks, and this is something that we've missed.
Yes.
This is a story from back at the end of June. Has to do with PragerU landing a contract, quite frankly, with the Department of Education.
PragerU, government contractors.
And it's bleak. It's dramatic and it's bleak. So in celebration of America's 250th birthday, the Department of Education organization announced back in June that they are partnering with PragerU to build the quote-unquote Founders Museum.
We already got that, the American History Museum.
No, this is a new digital museum.
Oh, a digital museum. What the fuck is that?
Oh, you're gonna find out. So the Founders Museum, it's not an actual museum, of course.
Okay.
It's like a digital exhibit in the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, and it features QR codes that, when you scan them, makes the founder speak using AI.
This is the lamest thing I think I've ever heard.
One such displays of John Adams, and this AI monstrosity explains how he fought for independence, and PragerU literally makes John Adams say, "Facts don't care about your feelings."
Dude, these people are so lame. They're so like petty, and they like, they're like the kid that was like a bully but thought that they were the ones that were bullied because people didn't want to associate with them, so they're mean.
They're cry bullies.
They're cry bullies, and they go around and doing a bunch of things, and like they think they're slick and they think they're getting away with it, but you look stupid.
Yeah. And it's like the U.S. government has been doing overt propaganda about America's founding for a long time.
Since its founding.
Like every person that is a critical thinker,
yes,
has a story about like, oh, I didn't learn about this, and this in, middle school history class. Like they didn't want to teach us the real history of America. It's a reason why books like A People's History of the United States is so popular, because it tells you the things that like your traditional education won't tell you, especially in a red state nowadays. Yes. So this isn't necessarily new, but this moment is particularly egregious. One, because the AI shit is just pathetic.
Oh yeah.
Like it's corny. It's just like a little digital thing. But on top of that, partnering with PragerU, the United States partnering with PragerU, is a new level of depravity.
There couldn't be a more problematic educational institution that you could partner with here. Like PragerU is a special kind of evil.
Yeah, and I really do think the federal government is sort of a white whale for PragerU, because PragerU has been partnering with state-level governments for quite a while now. I think there's like 8 different states that have PragerU in their educational materials. Not necessarily
Which is insane.
It's not necessarily like in the curriculum, but it's like if teachers want to use these PragerU videos, then they can, which is still crazy.
Yeah.
It's still insane. But PragerU partnering with the federal government is insane, because PragerU for a long time has offered this just wicked, I would say evil framing
for sure
of U.S. history. They framed John Braun as a radical abolitionist as a bad thing.
Yep.
And in the same context, praised Robert E. Lee, a fucking insane, a slave owner.
Wasn't that like a video about like tearing down statues?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you can't tear down the Robert E. Lee statue. He was such a good guy.
Yeah.
He was such a cool guy. Guys, if you ignore one thing.
Yeah, and they had Columbus say in a kid's video that being taken as a slave was better than being killed. And they
fucking nuts.
They had Frederick Douglass say that slavery was okay as a compromise to bring the United States together. PragerU is pure propaganda through and through.
That shit is evil. They make like wicked climate videos too.
I was just about to say, like, on top of their bastardization of U.S. history, they also do a lot of climate denial. They're also viciously anti-trans. They've compared climate activists to Nazis before, and they published a quote-unquote documentary called D-Trans, which focused on detransitioners as a way to like frame transgender people as, going through a phase being manipulated by the left.
PragerU were the people that made that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Where they found like the 3 detransitioners and interviewed every single one of them.
They failed to mention, of course, that detransitioning is incredibly rare.
It's like 1% of 1% of the population.
Yeah. And also for those that it does happen to, it's often either because like social discrimination or they don't have the money to continue treatment. So that's PragerU, and that's who is getting funded by the U.S. government. PragerU's entire existence is to convince people, usually young people, that like America's cool, everything we've done historically has been justified. It's oddly like morally relativistic, which is not usually a thing that conservatives like to do. And then, of course, they have the climate change is bad because they're funded by oil barons. Diversity is bad, and Christians are being discriminated against.
I don't understand how we've slipped so far that now people can go out there with their full chest and say that actually slavery was preferable to where they came from. Because that's what they said in the Christopher Columbus video. Christopher Columbus and his fucking fake Christopher Columbus got on this PragerU video and said slavery is not only preferable to death, but it's also preferable to the culture of where these people came from. And also, you got to look at the context of the time.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say that despite the context at the time, a lot of things were bad back then. Especially slavery. And even if, well, not even if, yes, many cultures around the world did slavery. Yes, some white people may have been slaves in some areas of the world. That was bad. And especially bad was American slavery. One, because of its recency, and two, because of the nature of the slavery itself.
Yeah, like chattel slavery was uniquely bad. And in the United States, it was uniquely race-based.
Yes.
Like, I saw some figure recently, because people argue about slavery even to this day.
Which is nuts.
Like, about how bad slavery was and shit like that. There's a common argument that goes around that's like, only 1.4% of the population in 1860 actually owned slaves in the United States.
I think that's from a PragerU video, too.
That also might be from a PragerU video. Doesn't take into account that in that number, you're adding the entire North, which by 1860, slavery was outlawed in the North, of course. But also 90% of people, 90% of black people that same year were slaves. So slavery was a ubiquitous thing in the United States for a long time. Obviously existed in the South for a lot longer. And then on top of that, it was an overtly race-based system
and it's also,
of discrimination.
Yes, maybe 1.4 or 2% of the population actually owned slaves, but also much more of the population in the South especially fucked with slavery. Mm-hmm. They fucked with slavery. They worked on plantations for people who owned slaves. They probably just couldn't afford slaves themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't take away from the fact that, like, slavery bad.
Very bad.
And 1.4% of the population at that time was probably like, what, 400,000 people?
Real.
That's a lot of people that own slaves.
And it's also like, I, as an American, don't need to contend with slavery that happened fucking 500 years ago in the Middle East because I have no ties to that place at all whatsoever. But I do have ties to America because I was born here and I live here.
Yeah.
And slavery was not that long ago. And there are things that are here right now that were built by slaves that people refuse to recognize. And there is a legacy of slavery that is still here that people refuse to contend with. That is the reason why we need to keep talking about slavery. We would not continue to have these conversations if people had actually fixed the issues that came with Reconstruction.
Yeah.
If we didn't have a Jim Crow South, if we didn't today still have discrimination, if we didn't have studies that are published that show that if you have a traditionally like black name that you are less likely to get a job than like a white guy name.
Yeah. And it's like all the woke leftists like us are asking for is that we like repair the historical effects of discrimination through slavery, Jim Crow laws, redlining, and so on. Maybe in the form of reparations or something like that. That's all we're asking for, is that we fix the ongoing problems connected to things in the past. But no.
What are we going to get here? What are we going to get when the Smithsonian goes and redoes their thing, or PragerU becomes mandatory listening in every goddamn elementary school across the country? Are we really going to get a unit where they're like, yeah, white people used to feel real bad about slavery, but don't. Everybody did this way long ago.
Mm-hmm. That's always the argument.
Because so much of their line, especially in education, especially when it was in Florida a couple years back, was just, we can't make the white kids feel bad. Mm-hmm. Never once did I feel bad for being white for somebody having owned a slave in the past.
No, I was like, that's bad.
I said, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, like that. I feel like when people say that telling people the truth about slavery makes white kids feel bad is like an admission that you associate your identity with the slave owner. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I have never once felt bad learning about the I haven't felt bad like about myself learning about the historical impacts of slavery and how it was done. But those that do feel bad, that's a little suspect to me. Uh-huh. Why would you feel bad about that? Like, is it because you think it was a good thing and people are telling you it's bad?
Conservatives paint this narrative that public school teachers, K through 12 public school teachers, are running around during their slavery units and pointing at the white kids and laughing at them, making them stand up and be shamed by the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you would feel bad as a white guy or white kid just learning about slavery in general. Mm-hmm. Like, oh shit, why, like... And I feel like it's also a tell for conservatives because they think of themselves as having white pride. Mm-hmm. Like they do. There's a lot of white supremacists, especially at PragerU, especially when we're talking about Stephen Miller in the administration and everywhere throughout conservative politics that want to have pride in being white. And I think that they feel shame that they can't be proud of being white because they've associated whiteness with slavery because they fuck with it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the base of it, is that deep down, or maybe even just on the surface, they fuck with it, but they can't say they fuck with it.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with all these roundabout explanations for why talking about slavery honestly is a bad thing.
Like, they take it as a slight on them because it's a slight on the race that they take pride in.
Exactly.
That's corny.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the point. Anyways, PragerU propaganda, it has been for a long time. And now it's being platformed by the federal government. Platformed, and like they're getting paid for this, obviously.
Yeah.
They're not doing this for
free.
They're
probably getting paid more money than God, too.
Yeah, they landed a government contract.
Private-public partnerships, man, they strike again. It's ridiculous out here.
It's just PBS gets cut, NPR gets cut, PragerU gets a contract with the Department of Education. Something about that feels wrong, folks.
And that's why we're launching Hiddo Kids.
I don't know if we can use that name and put kids next to it.
That's true. And that's why we're launching the Jeremy Gage Podcast Kids.
Or competing with Katie Miller. We're going to have honest conversations.
That's right. From both sides of the aisle.
Our first guest, Claudia Scheinbaum. Anyways, that's PragerU. That's Propaganda Hour.
That's Propaganda Hour. That's what's going on in the U.S. But like the reviews talked about, #1 geopolitics podcast. We are the best podcast in the geopolitics space.
Many such
Katie
cases.
Miller come for that title, huh?
Oh, she can't.
Yeah, and she couldn't even begin to contend.
Well,
with
she
it.
might
Next
have
episode,
Netanyahu
Katie
on.
Miller.
She might have not. Maybe Ben Gvir.
Hi guys, today I'm having Ben Gvir, Yoav Galan, and Netanyahu on.
What's your guys' favorite ice cream? How do you balance doing a genocide?
And then they say,
keeping the
I
kids
hate
fed?
Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins sucks so hard for no particular reason whatsoever. But
Yeah.
I think you can guess what we're going to be talking about today. We have to talk about the situation going on in Gaza. So hot off the heels of Netanyahu's earlier remarks about how he wants to pursue a non-permanent takeover of Gaza, news broke this week that Israel's in talks with multiple countries about taking in displaced Palestinians.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. And it's like, first, if the occupation is only temporary, why are we having talks with multiple other countries to like cleanse the land of Palestinians?
Because that's what it is. Forced displacement is ethnic cleansing.
Yes.
Because they're doing it based on the ethnicity of the people living there.
And this,
It's clear.
Exactly. And it's like this piece of information, just the idea that they're having talks with other countries should be all you need to know about what Netanyahu's true intentions are, no matter what he says or not, because he's trying to get them out of there. He can hide it under whatever fucking disguise he wants to, but ultimately what he's trying to do is get Palestinians off of the land, take them out of Gaza, and put there somewhere else so he doesn't have to deal with them anymore.
Why can't they come into Israel? I mean, they're in Israel.
Why can't they just stay there? Why can't they chill?
Gaza's not its own country. Like, they are inside of Israel. Why don't you just let them into Israel?
Yeah.
Then, you don't need to displace them at all. You don't need to kick them out into another country. You can just let them into Israel, finish whatever bullshit you're doing, military operations you're doing in Gaza, and just let all the civilians into Israel. Why not?
No, literally, exactly. It's whether or not Gaza is in Israel is like, it literally is in Israel, but they're basically two separate areas, right? Gaza is occupied by Israel, no matter what point in time you really look
They're
at it.
stateless, yeah.
Largest open air prison in the world. You know what I'm saying? Why would they not be safe if you just let them into Israel? Or is that an admission of something?
Yeah, because you don't want them in Israel.
You don't want them in Israel. Like, why would they not be safe in Israel? I don't know. You tell me. You know what I'm saying? But a senior Israeli official told CNN the countries they're in talks with are South Sudan, Somaliland, Ethiopia, Libya, and Indonesia. In exchange for taking in the Palestinians, the countries are looking for, quote, significant financial and international compensation.
Damn.
Bit wicked there.
That is crazy. If you pay us enough, you can ethnically cleanse them and we'll take them.
Yes. And
That
it's not
sucks,
like,
man.
It's not like getting sent to South Sudan would be great.
No, God, no. Are you
It's not
kidding?
like it's not like these are places that are like cool to live in. And maybe some of them, I don't know. I just know South Sudan war torn, right?
Well, it's like they're going to be refugees no matter where they go.
Yeah, it's already going to be a bad situation
Yeah.
no matter where they go. And some of these places aren't looking too hot, just in general right now. So that's that. And we don't know how advanced these talks are, or even if they're feasible, or even if they're going to happen, even if they're going to actually make a deal with another country. We just know that the talks are happening and that Netanyahu is taking concrete steps towards kicking Palestinians out. He wants them gone. He wants to occupy the Strip. They're moving to take over Gaza City right now.
Yeah. And again, it's explicitly ethnic cleansing. I know that Netanyahu deep down feels he can't get away with just total like murdering everybody, full genocide, because the international community is watching. He's been getting away with a lot of this, but he wants to do more, obviously. So the next best thing to him is kick all the Palestinians out, do an ethnic cleansing. Where are the condemnations? I haven't. I mean, unless you got something in here about the UK saying like we're going to acknowledge them as human beings if you ethnically cleanse them, but like wait,
I
where
do
are we
not
at, man?
spoiler alert.
Like this is like genocide's the worst thing,
Yes,
but ethnic cleansing's still pretty bad.
exactly.
I don't fuck with that.
They're like almost one and the same.
Yeah, I know. It accomplishes the same thing.
It's the same goal. You're kicking them out of the land. Like, you can't have a genocide without having an ethnic cleansing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one step down, I suppose.
That's a bad thing to do.
Very bad thing. And I feel like one of the craziest parts about this like whole situation in general is that they, being like Netanyahu, the Israeli government, are so loud about their intentions in one moment, and then in the next they try to hide it behind some like thin veneer of liberal language. So in an interview with an Israeli news channel, I think this week, Bibi said this plan was not about, quote, pushing out Palestinians, but rather about, quote, allowing them to leave.
Okay.
Did Pete Buttigieg write that for you? What kind of like corporate consultant bullshit is that? That's the same fucking thing. Whether you push them out or you allow them to leave under the conditions that people in Gaza are subject to right now, they have no choice other than to leave if they can. If you're opening up a path for them to get out, you are... No reasonable person, almost everybody that's faced with that choice is going to get up and leave because of the conditions that you're subject to. They've been intentionally starved for the last like 4 months. They've been killed at aid sites, and they've been under bombardment for almost 2 years straight at this point.
Yeah.
In this same CNN article that I read talking about like this plan to kick them out and this interview that Netanyahu had, they mentioned that in the last 24 hours from when this was published, like 113 Gazans had been killed. Yeah. Like in strikes and shit. Yeah. So one, that makes me think of Alyssa Slotkin saying, oh, it's a different kind of war now, blah, 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 which is always bullshit.
Just a fucking lie.
And two, it's like, that's what's happening on the ground. Who would want to stay there? Even if that's your home, and even if that's your home, it's entirely understandable that you don't have a choice. When you're faced with live somewhere else or die here, a lot of people are going to choose live somewhere else.
Yeah, and your house is probably gone anyway.
They're like all gone.
Yeah, like a lot of people are just living in tents right now or living out of rubble or wherever they can find. Like the only option is to leave.
So it's like they have no choice. No matter how Netanyahu wants to phrase this as pushing them out or letting them leave, he pushed them out. You made the conditions so worse that they could not reasonably choose otherwise. And when that happens, you have no choice.
And again, why not just let them into Israel? The answer that he would probably say is like, well, then we'd be letting Hamas in. You're letting Hamas leave if you're giving them an option to leave.
You're letting them leave and regroup.
If they go to Ethiopia, what's going to stop them from coming into Israel again and doing whatever that you think they're going to do if that's the accusation?
What if they get bigger and scarier?
Exactly. Well, I mean, he is speedrunning making Hamas too anyways.
Exactly.
But like, there's no fucking logic behind any of this. They just want to kill people.
Yes.
And do harm.
Yes.
Ethnically cleanse.
Absolutely. And it's like, speaking to like, they say one thing one moment, then another thing in the one moment. He then went on, I think in the same interview, and dropped like any sense of trying to hide in his intentions when he said, quote, all those who say they're concerned for the Palestinians and want to help Palestinians should open their doors. Going on to further add, quote, why are they coming and preaching to us? Open your doors.
They're in your country, dog.
Why are you getting mad at me for killing them when you could just like take them in?
Yeah, why are you mad at me for beating my kid?
Exactly.
You could take them.
Why don't you adopt this fucker, this little shit then, huh? This piece of shit.
They're in your country. They live in your borders.
They're under your complete control.
Yes.
They literally like can't leave right now, and you keep bombing them. It's just, that is cry bullying. Those are crocodile tears right there. That is the stupidest fucking thing that you can say in that moment. Oh, if you don't like how I'm treating them, why don't you just take the full responsibility of these people? I'm supposed to be responsible for that.
It's the same shit that conservatives doing. They're like, oh, you care about illegal immigrants? Then come let them come live with you. It's like I'm arguing that we treat these people as human, not that they live in my house.
Exactly. I'm arguing that they can just get their own house.
People are so fucking dumb, dude.
No, it's dumb. And then in the biggest giveaway of his intentions in like this entire interview, Netanyahu was asked by the interviewer if he connects with the idea of a, quote, greater Israel, to which he replied, very much. Quote, okay. Very much. As CNN highlights, the term Greater Israel is a reference to biblical Israel and is a vision of the state with expanded borders to include parts of Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon. So it's like, if Bibi connects with the idea of Greater Israel, combined with all his other actions since October 7th, what makes you think he would ever give up Gaza once they take control of the entire strip again?
Yeah, you believe in Greater Israel. No wonder you're fucking invading Lebanon.
He believes in Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, is that not what this is? Is Greater Israel not just what we said Manifest Destiny was? He wants to just go around and take more land. He said he connected with it. This is the type of shit they say on Israeli news, dude.
Dude, this shit is so fucking dumb. Like, we always hear about Israel being like hated by all of its neighbors.
Yeah. Case in point.
No fucking wonder, dude. Like, I get it. There's a lot of anti-Semitism out there in the world, and that's bad.
Yes.
But the actions of the state of Israel do not and should not represent that of all Jewish people. But when the state of Israel, the government, is making decisions and saying that they want to literally invade and take over other parts of land because of what the Bible says, no wonder people don't like you.
And it's like when Netanyahu goes and says, I, as the leader of the state of Israel, want to encroach on other people's like sovereign territory, and I represent all Jewish people. come on.
Yeah, like
you
people
don't.
People are gonna, yeah.
You don't, but people are gonna assume, and it makes the situation worse. And that's why none of these fucking none of these stop anti-Semitism organizations are bad, but a lot of these organizations like AIPAC or J Street or whatever that get out there and say we're trying to stop anti-Semitism don't actually care.
Yeah, nobody actually cares about anti-Semitism if you let this shit fly.
Exactly.
Because you're just encouraging anti-Semitism. You're promoting anti-Semitism as a justification for more military operations from Israel.
Yes. More colonialism.
Yeah, exactly. And that sucks. That does not lead to a more peaceful world.
Exactly.
It leads to more fucking violence.
It's like Netanyahu and the other people in government are kids who were born in the wrong generation, and they desperately want to go back to a time where empire could just expand endlessly no matter what, as long as they had the military force to, but they can't because they were born like 200 years too late.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that is the analysis, is that Israel wants to have their colonial project because everybody else got to do it. But now international norms have changed. We have a system, quote unquote, of international laws, and they don't get to act as belligerent as we once did.
Yeah,
and to them, they think it's not fair.
They're behind on the meta. You're supposed to like start a company and then loan out money in your currency, and that's how you control other places, not like invade.
Yeah, you just dump a bunch of your products on a nation and control everything about them. It's like what France did to what's that African country? Like
Haiti?
Just countries in West Africa. I think France like tied a bunch of their currency in with the local economies and just decimated the place. They still do that.
Well, it's like what we do with IMF loans, saying like, oh yeah, you can get an IMF loan, but you can only use an American contractor to do this service, and they're going to charge you $200 for a light bulb. Like that's how you're supposed to do it now. That's the meta.
And you have to do this structural adjustment program, which completely reconfigures everything about your economy to benefit us.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. You're supposed to make your neighbors completely reliant on your services, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't need to invade anymore. You just need to capture their economic system.
Get with the times,
and that's light work.
Exactly.
That's light work nowadays.
It's so much easier than doing a military thing and like killing people.
Yeah.
Why kill people when you could just control every facet of their being otherwise?
Yeah.
In like a less violent way.
Yeah, I think that, soft power. I think that explains a lot of Israel's actions. I also think a lot of U.S. support does just come from this religious zealotry, this belief that the rapture will happen if the Jews are in Israel.
Oh,
the Jews
the
are
evangelical support.
Because I saw a video of Lindsey Graham, I think from a few days ago, some event in South Carolina, and he was saying that like if we stop supporting Israel, then God will stop supporting us. Like it is a lot of this.
That's insane.
A lot of this is just a psychopathy that has infested the minds of a lot of Christians.
It's like religious abuse. Like it's like a pastor going, "Oh, if you don't give 50% tithe, that's the type of shit we should do. If you don't give 50% tithe, then God fucking hates you now, and I know because I speak for him."
We could learn from the religious.
Hold on a minute. Maybe new money making strategy, just like how new Empire dropped, new money making strategy dropped, new hustle dropped.
Yeah, I resent the fact that a lot of people there are a lot of people with talking about the rise of anti-Semitism. There are a lot of people that look at the influence of Israel over our politics and think like, oh, the Jews control the world.
Yes,
and I think that's a bad thing.
It's a very bad thought
because a lot of the time, a lot of like AIPAC money, a lot of J Street money is just like Christians, like it's like MAGA billionaires, Republican billionaires, and Christians spending a fuck ton of money to get the United States to continue supporting Israel because they have these wicked biblical beliefs.
Yeah, and it's like so much of that is just to justify like the only real reason why we're friends with them is like intelligence sharing relationship.
Yeah,
and that's it.
They're a military base.
It's an intelligence sharing relationship. Mossad gives us information, we give Mossad information, and then we could stage troops there if things ever popped off.
And that's the Slotkin position.
Yeah,
that's the Slotkin position. Lindsey Graham thinks we need Jewish people in the Holy Land before the rapture happens.
Lindsey Graham thinks we need Jewish people in the Holy Land to die in the rapture so that we can ascend to heaven. Because is that not ultimately what the rapture is?
Isn't that what it is? Yeah.
Like everyone dies and everyone goes to heaven if you're a true soul that's accepted Jesus.
I need to brush up on my biblical knowledge, I think.
Catch me reading the Bible.
So I can engage in these conversations. I'm going to look up all the verses about Israel.
I'll be like that one guy, Dan McKellen, who like does the Bible stuff, debunking like what right-wingers think about the Bible and actually using like scripture and whatnot. I'm this administration, I'm a Constitution defender and I'm a Bible defender.
But that's not in the plain text of the Bible. If you look at Corinthians,
I'm a plain text originalist. What did Adam think when he wrote this?
Yeah, no, that's just crazy. What was I gonna? Oh, it reminds me of the Ted Cruz interview with Tucker Carlson when Tucker was like, "You think modern day Israel and its current borders are what the authors of the Bible were talking about when they talked about Israel being the Holy Land?" And Ted Cruz was like, "Yeah." Like, that's the Holy Land. Of course, that's what they were talking about. Like, what that is just so on its face insane.
The Holy Land lies on the fucking 52nd parallel. Like, come on, man.
It's absurd. It's just totally absurd, man.
And it's like, even speaking to what you said about like this is just a larger conversation like we had, I think, last week about like how a lot of these actions and evil people trying to tie these actions with all Jews and saying that all Jewish people should fuck with this, and if you don't fuck with this, it's anti-Semitism. Like, why does every congressman go to Israel? Mm-hmm. That's like, if you don't want people who are dumb to think that Jews control the world, let's stop having AIPAC, the foreign lobby, fund Israel trips for every congressperson all the time.
Yeah, and stop endorsing this idea that you can't criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Because the more we associate the military operations and everything Israel does with the more we associate opposition to that with anti-Semitism, the more people are just going to think like, oh, to be Jewish is to support genocide, which is going to make more people anti-Semitic, and I think that's bad, and I don't like it.
That's a bad thing. There is genuinely a lot of left anti-Semitism when it comes to this issue now, because things look fucked up, and if you aren't a critical thinker like here, then you're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to put those pieces together.
I mean, and there's been so many wars and atrocities done in the name of a group of people. You know what I mean? Like so many times. I mean, the idea
Crusades.
of the Crusades, the idea of Lebensraum was like more living space for the Germanic people, right? Yeah. But it rarely has it happened in the name of a group that has already been so demonized and already been accused of running the world behind the shadows, right? So the sort of tropes and the tropes and conspiracies play off of each other. It's bad.
It is bad. Yeah. And I don't fuck with it whatsoever.
I don't fuck with it. And I don't fuck with Israel. You know what one of my favorite activities is?
What?
Reading.
Oh, I love reading. I love literature.
And one of my favorite things to read are the reviews we get on Apple Podcasts.
Always.
Not only do I love to read them, but it's a really great way to support the show. If you want to help us out, go and leave a 5-star review on Apple. As always, we read them here on the show. And if you want to make me happy, if you want to become my non-parasocial friend,
that's right.
One step on the 1,000 steps that it takes to get there is to leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'd really appreciate it.
Just remember, my friendship, it's for sale. And if you want to become one of my friends, you can go to the Patreon, or completely for free, you can leave a review on Apple. And even if you don't want to become my friend, don't you want to see another human smile?
Exactly. So consider leaving a review on Apple. It really helps out the show. It's a free way to do it. And you'll be one step closer to being a real friend of ours.
Exactly. Now with that, back to the episode.
Anyway, moving on to some extras.
Back home.
Going back home real quick. Talking about the court real quick. Not a major potentially a major news story.
Yeah, it could manifest in a very big news story.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody that originally challenged the whole Obergefell ruling, or the challenge that led to the Obergefell ruling in the first place, has now asked the court to overturn that ruling. And we'll see if this goes anywhere. I think the court has decided to take it up.
No, there's no way.
There's no pending cases, but it wasn't outright rejected, which makes me think.
Which is kind of insane.
Which makes me think Obergefell being overturned is on its way. 10 years later. You guys had it too good for too long.
Clarence Thomas said when he overturned Roe v. Wade in his concurring opinion that it's time to look at Obergefell again.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Which is
overturning Obergefell was on the 2016 Republican platform too. The presidential
2016?
Platform. Yeah.
Jesus
the RNC.
Fucking Christ, dude. Once again, it is so insane to me that gay marriage is such a recent thing.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares? Genuinely, why do people get their fucking panties in a twist about this?
People, the legal argument is that it's a violation of my religious liberty for the state to force, for the government, the federal government, to force states and people that work in those states to marry people if they don't agree with the fact that they're being married.
It's a fucking violation of my religious liberty to be around you guys. You can say that about anything. You really can.
It's a violation of my religious liberty to not be able to be a shithead and a bad person.
Exactly. I should not have to ever interact with people who are fucking dumb. Yeah. But here I am every day.
It's a violation of my liberty for the state to make me be a good person.
Yeah.
And it's the whole argument here is just that states can't deny people marriage because they're a same-sex couple. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just if you don't like that, then don't work for the state government. Don't work for the local government, man.
Shit, if you don't like it, leave.
Exactly. It's so simple. But so the court's looking at maybe overturning this, which would suck.
That would really suck. I know at the very least, when we get a decision to take up or to dismiss, it may be a 8-1 to dismiss. With that one being Thomas, or a 7-2.
Well, we know we're getting a 7-2.
We know we're getting a 7-2. Get a little Thomas and Alito on there.
We know we're getting a 7-2. I think my bellwether is probably the citizenship case. If citizenship goes the wrong way, I think the country's done.
Oh, yeah, nothing will ever happen good again.
Yeah, the country's essentially over at that point.
Then they can just amend the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Just whatever Trump wants just goes.
Just our 9 fucking high king emperors that run everything.
Is it going to be another year before we get that decision?
Maybe.
Or it hasn't even been brought to the court yet.
But it'll be
a thing that's working its way up.
Yeah, someone's like petitioned the court. But if it does get overturned next year, that's right before midterms, baby. Blue wave.
Blue wave. Oh, critical support to overturning birthright citizenship. Just to get more Alyssa Slotkins elected.
No, birthright is coming directly to the Supreme Court. Obergefell is sort of in early stages.
Yeah.
But if those both go the wrong way, blue wave, baby. If we have another election, that is.
That's true. Yeah, if those both go the wrong way, then I think it's very likely that we actually won't have another election. Mm-hmm. There's still a lot of people that are like conspiracy posting about like, oh, Trump third term, he's never going to give up power. I'm not quite there yet. But
he's joked about it, but like he's joked about it, you know what
exactly.
I mean?
So
I don't know.
Like there's a I'm like 90-10 on the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still like that would be a bit too crazy despite everything else right now. But things have been moving at a pace that I never once could have thought before.
Yeah.
So hence the 10.
And there's still some people out there that are like Kamala actually won. Like Trump cheated in 2024.
MAGA? That's
crazy. I've seen a lot of it late. Like
it's so lame.
I've been seeing a bit more of it lately, and it's just been a thing since the end of the election. Like people saying that like here Trump admitted to it right here when he said some shit about like Elon's going to make sure we win the election or some shit like that. But they never actually produce like real evidence. It's just sort of disbelief.
I was going to say, like, they're so lame. Like, every time they try to do, like, a right-wing thing or, like, something like that, they just don't have the sauce to get it done. 1, because they can't catch a vibe. 2, because that's just an insane position to have. There's lots of reasonable analysis that could get you to believe that Trump won the election, despite the actual him winning the election. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And 2, they don't
despite the results that you haven't been able to contest.
Exactly. There's not even like a coordinated kind of push like there was for conservatives in 2020. You know what I mean? They're not doing the fake ballot bullshit. They're not doing the look at the ballot dump at 3 a.m. at this night. There's nothing. They're just saying, no, I can't believe this happened.
And a lot of it just relies on sort of like the implicit assumptions of the audience, because they'll say like Trump has cheated at everything his whole life. Why wouldn't he cheat at this? And it's like, well, yeah, but you got to prove it though.
Exactly. Like, dog, just lock in. Dude.
I'm still of the opinion that it would be very, very difficult to steal an election this day and age, just because our elections are so very decentralized. It doesn't seem possible to me.
Incredibly safe and secure.
Yeah.
Like, you think that Jocelyn Benson was really giving it to Trump here in Michigan?
Yeah.
No. What happened? Michigan, purple state, it went red. Like,
yeah. You can maybe steal a state, which could influence the results of an election, of course. That wouldn't have applied to the last one. Like, you maybe could, like, especially in, like, a red state.
We need to steal Texas.
And like, the real way that Republicans steal elections is just through voter suppression and gerrymandering and shit like that. That's the real cheating.
I was going to say, election cheating is very real, and it happens through that, it happens through this, and I mean, it happens through the fucking mid-century gerrymandering like we have going on in Texas. Did you see that Gavin Newsom is now tweeting like Trump?
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. At first, I was like, this could be corny.
I thought it was funny too. By the end of the second tweet, I was like, maybe this is getting tired. I'm not sure, but I was like,
hey, bro's trying shit. You gotta appreciate
he's really throwing shit out there, and I appreciate it in this moment, but I'm not going to appreciate it in 2028 when I have to vote for him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If we have an election,
real. We got one more story to talk about quickly before we go out here, and this one is Indiana State Senator Mike Braun.
No, I think he's just a senator from
That's
Indiana.
what I mean. Yeah. Like the senator from Indiana.
Yeah, okay,
the senator from Indiana, the state.
Yep. One of the two.
Yes. Mike Braun got on, I don't even know what fucking program this is, but he had something to say.
Katie Miller podcast.
And I got something to show you. Okay. So I'm just going to roll the first part of this clip, and I want you to think about what he could be getting at here.
When you want that diversity to shine within our federal system, there are going to be rules and proceedings. They're going to be out of sync with maybe what other states would do. It's a beauty of the system, and
federalist system.
That's where the differences among points of view in our 50 states ought to express themselves. And I'm not saying that rule would apply in general, depending on the topic, but it should mostly be in
Oh,
general, because it's hard to have it on issues that you just are interested in when you deny it for others with a different point of view.
What do you think he could be talking about
That's the most like McKinsey consultant speak thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Man. That's worse than Pete Buttigieg.
There's a whole lot of gymnastics here. There's a whole lot of word games going to describe like what a federalist system is, as if we all don't know. What do you think the specific issue that could be at hand here is? What do you think he's going to be asked about next?
The only thing that jumped out at me was like when he was talking about diversity. But now it sounds like he's just talking about like diversity just like within the federal system.
Interesting. Let's roll a clip.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think that's something.
Bro, no fucking way.
Yes, dude.
No
yes.
way.
We have senators coming out and saying no more interracial marriage being like protected.
Why?
Federally protected.
Why would a state be able to decide if a white person can marry a non-white person?
Because the federalist system, what if some states don't want you can't have federalism in some instances and not federalism in other instances. Every state should be able to choose. It's the stupidest. Whenever people get into like federalist arguments as a way to try and hide their bigotry for things like interracial marriage, gay marriage, or segregation, or genuinely like whatever, they're just doing it because there's no way that anyone can reasonably come out as against interracial marriage and be taken seriously in public life. So they have to hide it behind law and technicality.
Yeah, no, they can't do it at the federal level. There's no way a federal law would ever pass banning interracial marriage, at least not yet.
Yes.
So they want to defer to states because they know some states will be able to do it. They're just maximizing the amount of damage they can do.
Because small government to a conservative is government that's just as small as I can control it at, and not any smaller than that, because they want to take away rights from you.
Jesus Christ, man, coming out as... Oh my!
This guy got elected statewide.
Yeah, Mike Braun is also famous for the take when the Dobbs decision came out. He said that our maternal mortality rates wouldn't be so bad if we didn't count black women.
Wicked statement.
So I mean, bro's been racist for a long, long time.
Yeah,
but man, that's a sign of the times. That's rough.
Like, oh yeah, I'm taking a principled stance for federalism so hard that I'm against interracial marriage.
Yeah, Loving v. Virginia was wrongly decided. In 2025, man, come on.
What are we doing? How have we backslid so much?
Like, I'm not going to say I understand it, but like conservatives have the most cultural sway when they make the argument that the institution of marriage was designed between a man and a woman.
Yes.
Like, I don't agree with that argument, of course, but that's like the argument that they make. How does the argument even go that it's between a white man and a white woman?
How do you argue against miscegenation in 2025?
Yeah. It's so weird, dude. Conservatives are so weird.
This is a anti-race mixing take. You are coming out saying the races should not mix. Brother. That's
like shit from the 1950s, man. Like communism is race mixing. Like, oh my God. Who fucking cares? So much of right-wing politics is just motivated by this fear of like the white majority shrinking.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't like interracial marriage, because when they have a baby, it's not white, not purely white, at least.
I guess the theme for this episode is the fear of the dissolution of the white race.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
And so many people are like, the whole great replacement theory idea, because we got a comment about like this on our TikTok recently.
Oh, okay.
Someone was like, white people are being replaced because, you know, the proportion of the population that white people take up has shrunk relative to others. But like, compared to like 1960, there's like 100 million more white people than there were before. That should be reason for celebration for you. There's so many more white people.
Hella white people. Like, the proportion's not there, but like there's a lot of us.
100 million more in America? You should be excited about that.
Exactly.
None of it, it's all based on this, quite frankly, hatred of brown people. That's all it is. They just don't fuck with anyone who's not white, and I think that's bad.
That's fucked up. I guess my parents did their part in white replacement, getting at least 25% of the white out of me.
There you go. Hell
you know what I mean?
Brother.
So I'm a soldier in the white replacement thing, being a quarter Vietnamese.
That's crazy. I think that brings us firmly to the end of this episode.
Yes, it does. And we got to give a special thanks to the people that keep us in these seats 2 times a week now.
Double time.
Listening to double the episodes. That's like 3 hours of content, sometimes 4 that comes at you. Whoo, that's crazy. I also got to say before we get into the thanks, I was looking at our listens again. The Alyssa Slotkin episode is the far and away our most listened to episode, and that makes me so proud.
Yeah, no, that's good. I want to be known for that.
Exactly.
Known for those positions. And also we had a lot of pop off on social media that week too.
That's true. It's got like 20% more listens than our next most recent
crazy
thing. Like it's actually nuts. It bangs so hard. But I got to give a special thanks thanks to the people that got us to the position where we can even have those successes. Climbed that mountain peak. And that starts with a special thanks to Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Japlinski, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colton Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Big Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cuts, Jennifer DeVoe, Croft Fishing, Benny Bennington III, Alexia Benanti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Cucker Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Curry Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ass Smith, The Grotler, Murder in a Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, A.K. Gone, Iguana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensock, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C., Anna Valenic, Casey C., Sayas to West, August Particular Pickman, Sir Capalot, Jeff Sines, Brendan is Egg, Froggy, Gumdrop,
Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000, Chris T., Kishan Lala, Amanda R., Tyler J., Particulon Menfrez, Rada Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Garrett from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fida Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addy Book, Merlin, Cryo Bongi, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Maja What, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-Inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Joshua Franklin, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Rock Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nix, Sound Logic, Sleven. I have never made a woman orgasm, and my mom.
Money.
Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. We really appreciate it. And if you don't give tithe, you're going to hell.
Precisely. You'll fall out of favor with us.
Do you want to burn forever?
That's forever and eternity. You can't even comprehend that.
There's only one way to avoid it, and it's not by being a good person.
Nope.
It's by giving tithe on the Patreon.
Damn, somebody's going to come knocking on our door with 99 reasons.
Who cares?
The
Hiddo Reformation coming
Catholic
soon.
Church is still around, baby.